It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and I can't sing a note. So I'm going to just stop here, 'cause I have a lot of fear of singing without training, 'cause there's a lot of anxiety with it. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Pretend World's Real People. As always, I'm Tyler. It is Christmas week, and I hope everybody's having an amazing vacation with their friends and family. If you are taking a vacation, if you're not like myself, I hope your scheduling is going perfectly. Nothing too crazy to catch you up on for this intro, outside of the fact that I will take some time off at the beginning of 2023 to focus on some work, and then I will come back around during the last half of the month. So, quick forewarning, there might be some fun stuff that pops up here or there throughout the middle of January, but for the most part, yeah, boy needs a little bit of a break. So yeah, I just wanted to let you all know what is happening then, but let's get right to it. I would like to introduce another amazingly talented member of my acting studio, and that is Genevieve Gionet. Now, she has a very layered background. She grew up in the world of competitive figure skating on ice, none of this TikTok roller skating crap. No, she's an absolute badass on ice, but, after an injury, she decided to pursue another sort of performance-based outlet, and that was theater. Since then, she hasn't looked back, and now she's trying to not only build a career in theater, but also film and TV as well. As, she totally will. She kills it every single time. Every scene I see her do, everything she does, she crushes it. And if I couldn't stroke her ego even more, she is now performing with the Prague Shakespeare Company as I'm giving this intro throughout the month of December. So super proud of her. I cannot wait to see what she does next. So let's just do it without further delay. I want to sit down. Let's get our comfy cozies on. Let's grab some coffee. I almost said let's grab some cups of coffee. Well, if you're amongst friends, grab some cups of coffee. And let's have a chat with my wonderful friend, Genevieve Gionet.
Well, my name is Genevieve Gionet. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I'm an actress. I am super into Shakespeare, Chekhov, and I'm recently been getting really into film, TV, and commercial acting. I'm an ex-athlete, moved into the arts, and I love it here.
And I will say this for the listeners, you are also a member of the acting studio we go to, which we have not published on the show because we want to keep it, like hidden secret.
Right. Yeah. A little secret.
Yeah. You're probably the most classically trained performer in class as far as like Chekhov and Stanislavski and Shakespeare and all that other stuff. Why the theater approach? What drew you to that? Because I get like the meat sweats thinking about studying theater.
Sure. Meat sweats.
Sorry, that was gross.
Well, my story of like getting into theater is a little bit maybe unconventional, not exactly accidental, but I definitely didn't think it would turn into what it did. Pretty much, I'll just tell my origin story, the lore. I grew up as a competitive figure skater, and I did that like really, really seriously from ages like 8 until I was about like 16 or 17, and then I was in high school and I was skating like every morning, like before school, after school, on the weekends, all of that. And in figure skating, you have to do this thing called like, you have to take these skills tests in order to like get to the next level. And you have to like be at certain levels in order to compete at certain levels, if that makes sense. So like if I wanted to like compete at certain competitions, then I had to like pass the skills test first. So anyways, during one of these skills tests, I had to do this jump and I biffed it hard and I fell, and I just was horribly injured essentially, and so I couldn't really skate the way that I used to for a really long time. like I was in a lot of pain, like during school, like I had trouble sitting down, like it was a bad injury. And so anyways, I was like, I need something else to do, like after school. Um, because I just wasn't used to like having free time and not like doing any activity really
Yeah.
after school. So anyways, I joined theater, and I just fell in love with it. Like we did let's see, my first big musical, I guess, was Young Frankenstein. And then we did Hello Dolly, The Scarlet Pimpernel, and then Sweeney Todd. And no, I just absolutely fell in love with it. And by like senior year of high school, I I was, trying to decide what I was going to do, where I wanted to go to college. And I just was like, I'm going to take a leap of faith and I'm going to pursue theater and see what happens. So I auditioned for a bunch of different programs. And I ended up, like, the best option ended up being UNC, Northern Colorado, that is. Um, they have a good program. It was a good price. So I went there, and their program was very like focused on classical theater. So we did a lot of Shakespeare, Chekhov, things like that. And yeah, I loved it. And so that's what I've been doing ever since. I graduated last year, and yeah, I've done some theater professionally. And now I'm just getting more into film and TV, and I I would say that gives me the meat sweats. Like it's like for me, it's like I like classical theater is like not intimidating to me anymore, but film and TV like very much is. It's so intimate, and it's taking me a while to like acquaint myself, but definitely getting used to it. And yeah, that's me. That's my story.
Well, I remember you talking about when you first came into class, talking about your figure skating background, and I never asked you how did that come about? Was it something that your parents like got you into as either sports or like performative sports, or like did you just see? I'm trying to think of a figure skating movie that's not Disney Channel related.
And not Blades of Glory.
Not Blades of Glory, but it's a very competitive, arduous, just really tough sport to get into. So how did you just focus so much on that? What was it about figure skating that drew you in?
um I mean, yeah, well, my dad, he played hockey his whole life. Like he grew up in Massachusetts, and I don't know, he had four brothers and they all just that's just what they did. Um so he kind of wanted us all to like try figure skating, just because it also like made sense. Like if he was going to go to the ice rink to like hang out with his buddies or whatever, like then it would make sense for like my sisters. I have three sisters and we all figure skated. It would make sense for us to be there too. So yeah, and I just kind of stuck with it, I guess. Like I don't know. I feel like when you start doing a sport as a kid, you either at some point it kind of just like fades out of your life, or you just kind of keep doing it. I don't know. I just kind of chose it and followed it. Um, yeah, there's definitely like a performative performance aspect to that sport. Like in a lot of competitions, you are also graded on your performance, as well as skills and all of that. So yeah, so like when I got into theater, performance wasn't totally like foreign to me, which was nice. But definitely theater was like generally the atmosphere was a lot kinder. People were nicer. Figure skating is people can be mean, especially the parents.
Oh, I
So,
can't even imagine. The
yeah.
only thing I know is the Tanya Harding story, and like, man, if that's what's in the public eye, I can imagine what's behind closed doors. That's insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like as for as long as I can remember, my skating coach would like tell us the story of Tanya Harding and be like, "Don't, don't do that. Like, don't be a bad sport. Like, you have to be nice. You have to, like congratulate your competitors, tell them they did a good job. Like, you can't. Don't do that." which might be seem like common sense, but the like, like if you see an I, Tanya, like how Tanya Harding's mother was, that's not uncommon. It really isn't. So yeah, it's when you like are in a world like that, it's easy to kind of like lose sight of like friendly competition and being nice to other people, when you are like constantly put up against like your friends and you just like have to constantly be competitive. It can become toxic very fast.
Yeah. And was it rough transitioning from, that type of performance on the ice into theater, given that it is such a different version of performing? Did it take a little bit, or do you feel like you caught on pretty quickly?
um I would say that, I mean, I mostly adjusted well just because it was like I didn't realize how welcome of a change it was. I guess, like I just ended up loving theater and the people so much, um that I was, even though it was like weird and different, I expected people in theater to be more competitive in the way that like like figure skating is, I
Mm.
guess. Like it was weird to me, like the way that people were like constantly just supporting each other and like wanting to make each other better and like working together as a team, even though like maybe you are like going up against your friend for the same role or whatever, but like it's all friendly, for the most part. I mean, there's sometimes, people will be mean or whatever, but in general, um it was, yeah, I guess like I didn't realize maybe how much I did need to do something where the people were a bit friendlier, and yeah, so it was a welcome change, I think.
Yeah, and obviously you're. We'll talk about what you have coming up here later on, but you're
Here.
crushing it. Uh, we won't spoil it quite yet, but you found sort of like a hard line into what you've wanted to do, a year or so out of college. So
For
I
sure.
do want to kind of go back to when you graduated, and a lot of us have that, the 6 months of bliss, like, oh, I'm out of school, I'm going to go focus on my career, and then
Yeah.
after 6 months, the student loan payments start to come through, and either you're not booking as much as you wanted to, or you're not booking at all. So, what was it like navigating that first sort of year out of college? I guess tail end of the year
Yeah.
with just trying to build your resume.
Yeah. First of all, hearing you say the whole 6 months like after college thing is actually like greatly comforting to me, because I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that.
No.
I don't know. Especially like with, I mean, I'm sure it's very similar in like a lot of careers.
Yeah.
But in the arts and with acting and stuff, like it is like, yeah, like the first few months after I graduated, I was great. I was on top of the world. Like I was like, I'm gonna pursue acting, and I'm not in school anymore, and I have more freedom, and I'm making some money. I mean, I was working like a corporate job, but it wasn't what I wanted to be doing, but I was making money. So yeah, I just started to like, I was in Denver and I just, started to audition for like some local theater productions. I was like, let's just like get, make some connections into the community here, like, just get some professional credits. And then I got signed with like a local agency here in Denver, which was exciting. Um, and yeah, so I auditioned for some musicals. I do sing as well, but I ended up getting a role in the play Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, or it's an adaptation of the Agatha Christie novel, and that was just a ton of fun. That, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure that you've experienced this when like you get an acting job where like, I mean, arguably it's every acting job, but like you do it and you're like, oh, like all the struggle of like trying to be an actor is like, it's so worth it, because when you're acting and you're doing it, you're like, oh, like there's just nothing else I'd rather be doing right now. Like this, it's just amazing. And that's like what this show was for me. Um, yeah, Murder on the Orient Express. It was just like, it was in a small theater, just with like other local actors, but it was so much fun. I will remember it as like one of my favorite acting experiences ever. And I also somehow they one of my costumes was once worn by Rita Hayworth. It was like this dress that I don't even know where they got it, but I was like, okay, cool. It was like this gorgeous gold dress. I only wore it for one scene, but it was it was crazy. I don't know. Yeah, and so that was about 6 months after college, and then I after that, I didn't do theater, or I didn't like do a show for a little bit. And yeah, then that led me to a different opportunity that I was able to go abroad for, to Europe, did a couple shows there. Um, and yeah, that kind of led me to today. I started at the studio in February of this year, because I had a meeting with my agent because I don't know, I had a lot of like commercial auditions, but I felt like I didn't really know how to do it. Like we didn't talk about that in college really at all. Um, and I guess doing classical theater, I've just been like trained to like kind of dissect every little
Mm.
piece of a script, and with commercials it's not, you don't need to do that, but I was like, I get the commercial script and I'm like, okay, like let's break this down here when I really don't need to do that. So anyways, I had a meeting with my agent and I was like, hey, like how can I be better at like commercials and film and TV? Like I feel like I need help here in this department. And so he recommended the studio to me, and so I started going, and yeah, ever since I started going to the studio, it's like my favorite part of my week. I love it. And I just learn a lot there about film, TV. I feel like I have such an appreciation for it now, whereas before I felt like I kind of wanted to stay away from film and TV and commercial, like being classically trained. I don't know why, I just did. um so yeah, that's where we are.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for you at all, but I could see it being you've acquired all of these tools within classical theater that you
Right.
know what you're doing in that realm. I'm not even gonna look to the right at what these guys are doing over here in front of a lens.
Right.
It's already difficult enough going back and forth, especially when it comes to like industrial works here in Colorado.
Mhm.
I feel like it's a game changer when you start out and you go, oh, I really have to change up my
Yeah.
technique.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like funny enough, like after I started doing like film and TV and commercial stuff, you realize how, I mean, similar it is to classical theater. Um, I mean, classical theater is cool because you have these characters that for some reason we perceive as being so different from all of us because of the circumstances they're in and because they like speak in old English, and we're like, oh, I could never, I don't even know how to begin to understand what it's like to be a woman in the 1500s or whatever, and doing all this. But I had this professor in college who just was like, yeah, I mean, it's once you get past the words and you understand the way it's written and stuff, it's like their emo- their emotions are not different from ours. Like you felt anger, you felt heartbreak, joy, all of that. Like it's not any different. And like that might seem like such common sense, like, oh yeah, but that at the time it was so profound for me. And I guess the same thing like translates over to film and TV. It's like it's at the same, like we all have the same baseline emotions. So as long as, whatever character it is, whether it's someone who lives in the 13th century, someone who lives in the future, someone who lives now, like you just have to find the humanity there and
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, I that's what's been helping me kind of acquaint to the film and TV and stuff.
And I mean, adding to that, I will say, just to, really stroke your ego and give you a big head here, you, we had a chance to do a scene together earlier this year, and your ability to dial into the emotional, like, core of a scene you're doing is fucking masterful. It's like two words in, and I'm looking into your eyes. Like, oh shit, I really have to catch up because she's already there. This is
Oh my god.
we're here.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right. What was I? Oh, I'm talking about milk, and then just going right into the scene, or like something crazy in that sense. And I will say, like, that's something very. It's very rare to see with honestly any actor, but especially actors in class. You see there are some people who have trouble connecting with the material. There's some that maybe go a little too far, but you dial right into it, and it just goes to show why you are traveling abroad to perform. You have this just innate ability to mix right into the scene. So I
Yeah.
do want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, keep going. I
Oh,
was
okay.
just yeah.
Keep going. Keep saying more. Say it. But I wanted to ask you what's your internal process when you are performing. It doesn't have to be a dramatic scene, but any scene. Since you are classically trained, I mean, do you do all those calculations in your head for a scene you've memorized ahead of time, or are you navigating it in real time as the scene is going?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, yeah, I feel like my process as I'm in a scene, is very I feel like weirdly enough, I don't think a lot. I think that something that's hammered into us at the studio is just like connect, connect, connect. Like if you don't have connection to the other person, you have nothing. Um, so I feel like for me, when in doubt, I'm like just um look into that person's eyes and just give and receive. And that's often nonverbal, I feel like, you know, but yeah, I mean, like I feel like the baseline for any scene is just understanding who is my character, um, and what's their objective, what do they want from the other person, um, which is very, like that's the when you take an acting class, that's like the first thing you're taught is what's your objective, what are your circumstances, where are you? So I feel like once you have all of that established, the scene kind of takes care of itself. And I mean going back to like the whole, I guess, finding the humanity too is like I feel like when you're an actor, the amount of like just care and empathy that you have to have, um for yourself, for other people, and for the characters you're playing is astronomical. Like it's I feel like at the for me, at the end of the day, acting is all about just empathy and understanding why people behave the way they do, and like and why someone might react a certain way in a certain situation. um I don't know, I hope that answers your question.
No, no, it does.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot for the last, couple of years, especially with everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
But uh, unfortunately, we've really benefited from watching various types of people in public or on the internet,
Hmm.
and are able to use that sense of id within our scenes so much easier because we're
Mhm.
now realizing how crazy people can be, or how fragile people can be. It sucks to see, but you find at least I find myself carrying that within various auditions or various scenes. And I mean, you're exactly right. It's all about empathy and understanding people and being there for people. And I mean, I have my own process with it, but how do you shake off, scenes that have such a dramatic weight? You feel like you're almost soaked in it.
Yeah.
How do you get back to being yourself after that?
um I mean, just like finding the things that kind of in general in your daily life might ground you, like okay, so for example, like when I was doing Murder on the Orient Express, I was playing, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the story, but um I was playing the countess, like the Hungarian countess, and she's the one who it's ultimately comes out that like her sister is the one that has been murdered. And so or that like was murdered like many, many years ago, and so now they're here on the train to like avenge the murder of my character's sister. And at one point towards the end of the play, she's talking to the detective, and she kind of just like she kind of just snaps, and she's like, she drops the accent that she's been putting on. It comes out that she's actually American, she's not Hungarian, and she's like, yes, like fine, like I was lying about my identity, like my sister's dead, like I'm, upset, traumatized, all this stuff. So she just completely breaks. And it's like, how getting to that place was really, really, really difficult. And I so like before the show, I would like kind of just shut down, and like I had like my music in, and I was just listening to this like sad, somber music. And so throughout the whole show and a little bit afterwards too, I was like in this really weird headspace, because like, and I don't personally, I don't think that method acting would like be a good thing for me to do. So I was like, okay, like I don't think it would be useful for me to like picture like, oh my god, like one of my sisters like dying or something like that. um I just don't think that that would be healthy for me, and I know that like some actors do that and it helps them, but I don't know, I was like, I don't think I can do that. So I kind of had to come up with my own process in that way. And so for me, it was through music, and it really helped get me to that place. And then after the show, I just made sure to listen to like very uplifting music. I was like, I need to be like social with my fellow cast members, crack jokes, all of that stuff, because I just need to like get myself to like a better place mentally, because I didn't want to go home with like this horrible pit in my stomach, of the way that I felt in that scene, yelling about like my sister being dead and wanting to avenge her murder and stuff. I just was like, yeah. So finding just your own thing that like helps you, like that brings you back down to earth, grounds you, makes you feel good. So for me, it was music and just socializing with people. And I feel like it's different for everyone. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of doing it. I can't even imagine, especially for theater, doing that every night for,
Yeah.
however many weeks
Yeah.
and it not taking a toll. And that
Yeah.
does bring up something really interesting too. And, you started out with figure skating and then going into, becoming an actress, and you're fulfilling all of these different emotions throughout various amounts of scenes.
Mhm.
But what do you like to do outside of this? Like, what helps you stay grounded outside of performance? Do you have, various hobbies? Do you like to, I don't know, people watch in a cafe? Like, what's your decompression to-do list?
Yeah, I do actually like to people watch in cafes.
Who
I do.
doesn't?
It's a great time. Um, and Denver has so many great little cafes. But besides that, I do love to sing. I'm a classically trained singer as well. So I um I sing opera at this Italian restaurant that I live like down the street from. Um, and I love doing that. I mean, that's also performance, but it's not emotionally taxing in any way. It's just very like, it brings people joy, it brings me joy. It's so much fun. Um, I get free spaghetti and wine, so
Brag.
I'm not gonna complain about that. Um, yeah, I do love to sing. I sometimes play piano. I'm not like trained on the piano, but like sometimes I like watch these like YouTube tutorials of like how to play this very simple song, like Taylor Swift song or something. And I do that. I think it's fun. And also I love to read. I've been really into books about like Greek mythology right now. So I just read like Madeline Miller's books, The Song of Achilles and Circe, and I also love mystery. I'm reading like 3 books right now. I don't know, but I do love to read. I just like I definitely I enjoy doing things that kind of like keep my mind active. I mean, of course, like some days I will just like be on my phone or whatever, but like in general, I really I like to, yeah, I like to read. Um I play Sudoku a lot for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just like fun little like activities that like kind of exercise my brain. yeah, and I'm really close with my family. I have two best friends that I hang out with like almost every weekend. Um, so yeah, just keeping like a good balance of, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of things.
I mean, it sounds like you will never run out of gray matter ever, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
with all that stimulation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, do you take requests at said Italian restaurant?
Yeah, I definitely can. I've had people request things that I don't know. Um,
Oh,
once someone requested a Pink Floyd song, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Um, at this like small little cozy Italian restaurant. I'm sorry, I can't.
oh
Um,
my God.
but yeah, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I've had people request like "That's Amore," Dean Martin. Um, I do have like kind of a set list, and sometimes I'll go back and like repeat songs for people who like maybe arrived late or didn't hear the first couple songs. But yeah, I start out with opera, and then move into more modern stuff. Like have like some Etta James, some like Unchained Melody, stuff like that. Stuff that like, and I encourage people to. I'm like, if you know it, sing along. Like, I won't be mad. It's fun when you have like the whole restaurant singing, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
No one's oh God, I'm gonna hate myself for asking this question, but no one has requested Dominic the Donkey by Lou Monte, have they?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna let you Google that and listen to it, and then we could talk about it at class tonight because it is a very obnoxious song that I could only imagine a lot of people recommending. Uh,
The donkey?
Dominic the Donkey, yeah. No one, we're in Colorado, so no one here has probably listened to it. But I grew up with Italians in Connecticut for a little bit, and that
Okay.
song was on the radio like crazy.
Huh.
Yeah, so definitely, check that out. But
Interesting. I'm gonna ask my mom if she knows that. My mom is part Italian.
oh really? Is she?
Um,
She may have heard of it for sure.
Dominic the donkey. I'm gonna ask her genuinely. That's
um, it's a weird segue. But one of my favorite questions to ask throughout the show, and especially like my friends that I know, somewhat, but don't know their, entirety as far as biography goes.
Mhm.
I love asking if you have a party story you could share with us. Now, that is a story that has occurred. Doesn't have to be, performance related, but something that has occurred in
Oh,
your past that stands out so immensely you could easily recant it amongst friends at a party. It could be something really tragic, could be something really fun, something surprising. Yeah, just could be anything. Do you have something you could pull out for us?
oh, that's such a great question. God, I know I do. Um, oh man. Um, I have like a lot of stories that I know of like I've had well, okay, here's something that happened the other night. Um, so yesterday was my birthday, and
Oh shit! Happy birthday!
thank
So,
you. Um, but Saturday night, my best friends and I decided to go out, and we decided that it would be a good idea that at midnight, so like the third going into the fourth, going into my birthday, we were gonna do a midnight slam dunk. And so we went out to the bars in Denver, and we brought a basketball with us, and we were just like carrying the basketball around with us like the entire night. And like every bouncer at every bar was like, okay, like just don't play basketball in here, okay? And we were like, all right. We so we were just holding the basketball. Um, and then there are two bars in Denver that like they're like right next to each other, but like between them there's a basketball court. And so we were like, okay, we'll end up there. So then we went to this bar, we did shots, we did green tea shots. Have you ever had those?
no, I'm guessing it's just is it green tea infused with vodka?
It's I don't even know what it is really. I just know it tastes good, but it's whiskey. I know it's whiskey.
Okay.
Very sweet tasting. It's good. You should you should get it. And yeah, so we did some green tea shots, and then we had our basketball, and we were getting some weird looks. Like some guy like across the bar like kept like wanting us to throw it, and we are like, no, like don't talk to us. But um anyway, so at midnight, oh, and also, um, my my friend. Okay, so I have these shoes. They're like knockoff Doc Martens, and I love them, and I wear them all the time. But this, I wear them so much that the sole started to come off. But I was like, I'll live with it because I like these shoes. But and I wanted to wear them on Saturday night. So, anyways, right before we went out, I super glued the sole to like the rest of the shoe. But then as we were walking to the bar, my friend like what is it called? Like flat tired me, and
Oh
the
no.
entire sole of my shoe came off. So anyways, so we went outside to do the slam dunk. I didn't have shoes on. It was like 30 degrees because like it was just too awkward to walk with my soleless shoe. I was like, I'd rather not wear any shoes at all. And I was with my friend Joe, and he was like, I'm gonna have extra shoes in my car if you want to wear them. But they were like size 12 Vans. So it literally looked like I was wearing clown shoes. And I was like, I'm just not gonna wear shoes. It's fine. So we went out to the basketball court at midnight, and my two best friends, they lifted me up, they hoisted me up, and Joe was recording, and I had the basketball, which was really flat by the way, so it barely bounced, and I shot it into the basket, made it, and did a birthday slam dunk. It was great. And then I had new shoes on, and yeah, then we stayed out there for a little bit, played some basketball with our very flat ball, and called it a night. It was a lot of fun.
Have you fixed your boot yet?
No, I think I have to throw them away. Like I
Oh
think
no.
it's time. Like the sole is gone. Like there's no other it can't be helped.
Well, I know your TikTok is full of murder mysteries and true crime
Oh my god,
nasty
yeah.
shit, but
Yes.
there's somebody
Indeed.
on TikTok that shows you how to break in Doc Martens by putting in, was it like a freezer bag full of water, you put it in the boot and then you put them in the freezer
Oh.
to break them in. I don't know if that's a thing. I guess it works. So if you're getting a new pair, something to try out. Just
Ooh.
don't invoice me if they break.
Yeah, I've heard Doc Martens are very uncomfortable at first. We had a
Yeah.
similar when you had to break in your figure skates, you put them in the oven, so they get really, really warm,
Ooh.
and then you put your foot in it and it like molds itself to your foot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
And
it's nice having like the warm skate on.
oh wow, that actually sounds really comfortable.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like once it starts to mold to your foot, it gets comfortable at first. Like new skates are really uncomfortable, but yeah, once you get your foot gets used to it, it's like just hugs your foot. It's nice.
That's how I feel every time I buy a new pair of rollerblades. It's 3 or 4 weeks of agony, and then they finally break in. Okay,
Oh,
all
you do
right.
rollerblade. You just do that
Dude.
like on your street, or where do you do that?
So I go. I'll drive to places and go rollerblading. Like if I'm going into the mountains or something, I'll go skate around Estes or something. And
Oh,
I
cool.
try to shy away from downtown because it's not as much fun as it used to be
Yeah.
with all the scooters. It's
God, the
really scary.
scooters.
Yeah. But yeah, trying to mold rollerblades to your feet when you first get them, it's just like ski boots essentially. So it just hurts for a couple
Oh,
of weeks.
yeah.
But I got a flash of the guy that was trying to get you guys to toss the ball over. Like I'm sure he leaned over to his friends, like, "Hey guys, check this out. But this is my move."
Yeah.
Turns,
No,
"Hey, throw the
yeah,
ball."
it was very much like that. And we were like, no, like we're not going to. Also because the bouncer said he would kick us out if we like threw the ball. So that's another
Yeah,
factor. But also was like, I'm not this is our ball. You can't
yeah.
have don't you know it's my birthday? So
Wait, did you have like a birthday sash or anything on?
no, no.
Okay.
No, but he should know. He should just know.
He should know.
Yeah. Wait, do you ever when you're rollers blading, do you call it roller blading or roller skating?
Blading. Skating is the four wheels on the
Oh,
bottom, and those freak me out. I can't do roller skating. It's so
okay.
weird.
It's
Um,
weird.
yeah.
Do you ever like attach yourself like to the back of a car and like put the like with a rope? Do you ever do that?
Dude, I have so many stories for you about me doing that. Like, especially more
Really?
so growing up than now, because my insurance premiums don't cover whatever would happen to me. But we what should I say? I'm not gonna say we. My best friend and his older brother somehow happened upon a golf cart in the middle of Thornton.
Great.
Don't know how they got it. I didn't ask any questions, but they they had this thin nylon rope and like, hey, LaRocca, put your skates on. We're gonna go up this hill, then we're gonna take you right down it. And we went up the hill, and it's kind of like a sidewalk next to a street.
Uh-huh.
And there's a park coming like on the other side. So it's on a relatively like safe straight line.
Uh-huh.
But they ended up going so fast, they turned a little bit, rolled into the grass,
Uh-huh.
and damn near flipped the golf cart over.
Oh
It
my
launched me so fast into the street
god.
that I narrowly escaped the back of this like beat up van that had
Uh-huh.
been there for God knows how long.
Oh my god.
But then quickly like turned to make sure they were okay, turned back, and then I just ate shit right into the curb.
Oh my
I
god.
I've done it a lot. We did it more so with snow, and then we would just get, old garbage can lids and use those as sleds
Yeah.
because we were cheap.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I've tried it. I've tried it a couple of times or two.
Okay.
I assume rollerblading would be pretty easy for you though, right? With your figure skating background, or
I don't know. I've been to a roller skating rink before, and I was actually really bad at it. Like
really?
I don't know. They just kind of feel different than figure skates. So I'm sure if I did it for like a little while, like once
Yeah,
or like went a couple times, then I would get the hang of it.
yeah.
But yeah, I did it, and I I was like, I don't like this. um, yeah. Um, I don't know. I haven't done that in years though. It's probably been like maybe like 7 years since I've been roller skating. So
Ooh.
maybe I should try it again.
You should. Yeah, it's coming back. I see more and more people doing it now than the last like 15 years. So
Oh, that's awesome.
try it out.
That's heartwarming.
We're not alone anymore.
Yes,
Uh, I do want to touch on like the thing we were kind of alluding to at the beginning, but if you
right.
want to enlighten our listeners as to one, what you did this summer, which we
Yes.
were all very proud of you for, but two, what's happening next for you.
Yeah, so, yeah, we talked a little bit about me, acting abroad, but yeah, to go into more detail, over the summer, I was, in Prague in the Czech Republic, with the Prague Shakespeare Company, which is this awesome, awesome theater company that is, it's run by I guess they are from the United States. They were saying that, like, in every big European city, there's an English speaking theater company, and there wasn't one in Prague, which is why they started the Prague Shakespeare Company. So they mostly do Shakespeare and classical theater, but they do other shows as well. I know they're doing Almost Maine right now. Yeah, it's a great theater company that I really really loved doing shows with. I so over the summer I did Henry IV Part One and a gender flipped version of Taming of the Shrew. And that was just amazing. I mean, to be in a city like that, just doing what you love, it was, oh my gosh, it just changed my life. And it was scary because I've always lived really close to my parents and like physically, and I'm just really close to my parents. And so going abroad for a few months and being away with from them and being alone was like very intimidating. Like I was remember saying goodbye to my mom at the airport just crying. I was like, I can't do it. Um but yeah, I did it and it was literally the best thing I ever could have done for myself. Is like taking, I guess, that risk and doing something that really scared me. It was amazing. I grew as a person and as an actor, like so much more than I could have imagined. It was great, and so I'm going back. I leave a week from tomorrow, actually, to go do 12th night with them at the Estates Theater, Mozart's Estates Theater in Prague, which is like this big, beautiful old theater where Mozart premiered Don Giovanni. It's really cool. Um, yeah, it's so I'm very, very excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
love Prague.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week in class. Yeah. Have you been to Prague? And I'm like, I haven't. No, I haven't been to Hawaii. It would be great to go to Prague. I've heard nothing but great things, and we were talking about, all the projects, film and TV projects that shoot there constantly. And
Yeah, so many. A
I
lot.
honestly don't see you coming back for like another 6 months because you're just going to find a bunch of work.
That would be nice. That would be cool. I do, it's I mean, at the age I'm at right now, it is technically it's like this is the time to go do things and
Yeah.
I'm still learning what I like and don't like and I've lived in Denver my whole life. What if, I don't know what else is out there. So, who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Well, that really does go hand in hand with one of the last things, within this podcast or one of
Mhm.
the last questions. And that's, I know it's been a short amount of time, but you've had so much experience within, the short amount of time you've been pursuing this as a career. So it could be something you're hanging on to. It could be something that maybe somebody mentioned or something that you just, sort of came up with. But do you have, a piece of advice you could pass on to listeners who are either, maybe they're starting out and they want to, go through their 6 months post college and see what they can do, or maybe they're trying to stay in the industry with, COVID parameters going up and down. I mean,
Right.
what has helped you that you could pass along to them?
Yeah. I let's see. I mean, I would say that like just get to know yourself really, really well. Like do things by yourself, ask yourself hard questions. Um, I think a big factor in being a good actor is knowing yourself inside and out, like knowing and like that goes beyond your likes and dislikes, but like what are your mannerisms? Like what makes you anxious and how do you react to hard situations? Like, what are your values? Like things like that, I think it's really important to know yourself. And then of course, like if you're pursuing acting, first of all, that's badass. Pursuing acting is hard and anyone who does it is cool and amazing. And I have a lot of respect for anyone who's pursuing acting. It's just, yeah. Um, but I think that, if you feel like you have a calling to do something, if you feel like you have a passion for something, then just follow it and like just do it and perform at every chance you get. Like it doesn't matter if it's a student film, it doesn't matter what it is, because if you love it, then you'll enjoy it all. Um, yeah, of course, if make sure it's like don't do it. I don't know. If it seems sketchy, don't do it. But like, you know, um, yeah, yeah, just take every opportunity because you never know what it'll lead or where it'll lead. And also just be nice to people, like if you're like a bad sport or have a bad attitude, like people will remember that and you don't know like who people know. Like you want people to want to work with you and you want people to want to work with you again and again. Yeah, that's what I would say. That's what's helped me is, yeah, just being a nice person, and when I, like, feel like things are hard and there've been a couple times that I felt, like, hopeless, like, acting is really difficult, and there's a lot of rejection. Um, but, I just always think about, like, there's nothing else I could do. Like, if you're passionate about something, then you have to do it. I just know I would never forgive myself if I stopped pursuing it. So I just do it. You can it's never the wrong choice if you're doing what you love to do, then you're doing the right thing. So that's what I would say.
No, that's perfect advice. And
Yeah.
you went and you performed in Europe over the summer. Like that, all of that coincides into everything you just said, especially the if it's sketchy, don't do
Yeah.
it, which can happen a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, you get a non-union audition for something that films in Tijuana and is a $10,000 buyout. I would probably
I
turn
would
away from that.
I would say no. Yeah, like look up people on Facebook. Like if it's like
Yeah.
yeah, like backstage is great. There's lots of opportunities on there, but I feel like they can't always like verify that things are legit. So like look up people on Facebook, like look up websites to things like, cuz it's sometimes things are weird. I've had a couple like offers for jobs that like seem great on the surface, but I'm like this is like a little bit strange, and maybe it would be fine, but maybe it would be really uncomfortable. So I,
Yeah.
you know, just yeah, proceed with caution, but in general, if you love to perform, then perform. There are opportunities, and there are opportunities everywhere, and just yeah, and
Yeah.
just always be yourself.
Well, with that, do you have anything we can give a shout out to or promote with this episode? It could be obviously I'll shout out the Prague Shakespeare Company, but it could also be like maybe an organization you believe in, a charity, something you've been watching, literally anything we can give a shout out to.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, I mean, yeah, this doesn't really have anything to do with like theater or acting, but a general shout out to the this is just something that's been like heavy on my mind, I guess. The uh Evergreen like park and recreation district. They have like this camp for special needs children. And I've worked with them, volunteered with them a lot, and they're just amazing people. I have an uncle who's special needs, and so like it's just something I like really hold really, really close to my heart. And I don't know. I don't know. That's like it's just been on my mind a lot, I guess, around the
Hmm.
holidays and being around family. So that's I don't know, that's just something that's important to me. Yeah, uh, I don't know. A shout out to Bistro del Lago in Evergreen, Colorado. That's where I sing opera, and it's like an amazing restaurant with the most amazing people. So just just the community of Evergreen, Colorado is wonderful. Shout out to them.
Well, now we know where to find you when you're singing to
Yeah,
throw out just random
yeah.
sing whip it.
Yes. Wait,
Come on.
what is the song that you said? Donkeys what? What is it?
Don- oh yeah, if I see you there, like, hey, Dominic the donkey, I know you've listened to it about 1,000 times. So,
Oh. Dominic
um,
the donkey. Okay, cool.
this has been. I'm glad we had a chance to do this before you left
Yeah,
because I want to get more people in the studio on here and you're
totally.
you're on the top of the list. Like I feel like I haven't talked to Genevieve in months because we're always just so busy in class. So it's just been awesome, like sitting down with you and hearing more about you and your story. And as we wrap up, I do want to say, dude, just like thank you. I know I'm going to see you in 5 hours, but thank
Yeah.
you for coming on. And the last thing we have is an awkward goodbye, prefaced by the question: have you ever seen Wayne's World?
Um, I've seen so my mom loves Wayne's World,
Oh,
so she's showed me clips. Um, there's like I know there's like a scene of them singing Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
showed me that many times. Like, "Jen, you gotta see this." Like, "I know, mom, I've seen this so many times." But I haven't, like, watched it.
That's fair, that's fair. Well,
Yeah,
your mom shout out to your mom because she is the coolest.
she
5% of people who've been on the show have ever really seen that movie, much less remember it. There's a scene where the 2 main characters are bought out. Their radio show is now underneath a whole new, sort of like production company, so they take over the stage, same employees, but then the lead guy leaves, and then Garth, the blonde guy, is kinda left by himself on stage as they're rolling. And
Uh-huh,
he has this kind of like awkward sort of just very awkward audible moment. So this
uh-huh.
entire awkward goodbye is prefaced on me counting down from 3, and when I point to you, just give me your best verbal awkward goodbye. Do you think that's something you could do?
Like, you want it to be purposefully awkward?
Yeah, I honestly think of the most awkward you could be,
Like,
which you're naturally like really suave and cool. So I need you to take that down a bit and
oh my
be
god, I'm not Slav or cool. Um, okay, okay, I can do
You got
that.
this. You got this. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Bye, Tyler. Have a good day. That was so bad, I don't know.